light is so important too, I'm sure, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Am I turned on? Yes. I'm turned on. Wow, this is wonderful. Thank you, Dottie, for having me be here to share with you and everyone share back everything we're doing. And this is the first time I've been in front of all these bright lights, so pardon me if I'm not quite moving around here correctly. I just wanted to start off real quick with something sort of light and fun. I was thinking, what's the fascination with breasts? Why are breasts so important, especially in the OC? And I thought, well, so I was thinking, you know, I think that's the only body part I can think of that has more names. So I came up with a few, and I'm sure you've heard them before, and I'll just run them off real quick. Mammary glands, of course, hooters, knockers, boobies, titties, breasts, tatas, the girls. And there's more, but I thought, that's enough, you get my point. So I thought, wow, that's amazing, but who's taking care of them? We try, or if there's a problem, then we try to take care of them, but it's really important to understand that there are healthy, safe ways to manage your health, monitor your health, and that's what thermography is all about. Okay, so I was going to tell a couple quick little stories about myself growing up and the development of breasts, but I might just pass on that. Let's see. Okay, let me ask, how many women in this room have had mammograms? Too many? Yes. Okay. How many women know about thermography? That's good. Not enough. How many want to have a mammogram? Oh, that's what I thought. Okay. And thermography is not painful. I don't touch you. It's just a camera. You know, we take images of you. It's great. No radiation. So, all right. Radiation causes cancer. Let me just talk a little bit about the history. The first thermal heat pattern that was, what do I want to say, discovered was Hippocrates, 400 BC. And what he did was he put clay on a person's body who was ill, and the first area that started to dry was his way of understanding, you know, in the body where the inflammation was. So that was the very beginning of thermography. It wasn't called that back then, but that was, you know, discovered by Hippocrates. This is what I'd like you to do. Get your phones out now, if you can, and you dial that number, and then you put you just type in your name and your email, and then I will have a whole bunch of things to send you for later so you don't have to make notes. Okay, so we're going to talk about thermography. The body that you saw, the whole body standing like this, our bodies are designed symmetrically, and so if you drew a line right down the middle, you would have two sides. Well, in thermography, what we're trying to do, especially with breast health, when we're imaging the breast, we're trying to understand how each side may be different. We are individually designed like a blueprint, so no one is like yourself. Everyone's different and unique. And so what we do is we take a baseline study and we look at your blueprint pattern the first time, and that gives us an idea of what your heat patterns are going to be consistently. When they change, let's say in 3 months, that's going to tell us where you may have inflammation or pain or problems or whatever, ill health. So this is what a board-certified doctor is going to look at in order to determine what he sees or interprets in the images. The spectrum of color is used or is created by a digital infrared camera, and the infrared is identified on a scale of color. So the warmest color starts with white, then it goes to red, and then it goes through the spectrum of color till it gets to the oranges, and then it gets to the greens and the blues and the purples, and then black. That's the coldest. So you can see even in this image, as symmetrical as this body looks, there's still a little more heat on one elbow versus the other, and I think there was another spot in the leg somewhere. So that's what the patterns typically look like. The reason that we want to use thermography over mammography, it's not to replace it, but we also don't want to radiate our bodies, as we all know. So if we're radiating our bodies to try to understand where the disease is, isn't that the same thing as causing the disease? Yes. So if we can do something before, especially when there is the opportunity to discover cancer and disease much earlier, that's going to make a lot more sense in the sense of prevention versus waiting till it's too late, and then you have to take more aggressive approaches to managing it or correcting it. Not having the slides is throwing me off a little bit, excuse me. Oh, are they? Okay, so I can go ahead and keep clicking? Okay. So going back history, this is the gentleman that discovered the infrared radiation in 1800. So we went from 400 BC and then 1,000 years later to the 1800s. And this was the first instrument that he used to discover, to identify the spectrum. Yeah, and his first thermogram was in 1840. And then we're moving forward to 1948. It took 40 minutes to do one of these. If I take an image of you right now, it takes 5 seconds. So it took 40 minutes to do a black and white. So we've come a long way. Digital infrared role in breast cancer and other breast disorders is to help in early detection, like I said, and to monitor the abnormal physiology. That's the other thing I need to explain. The difference between thermography and other types of diagnostics is that it's reading the temperature patterns off the surface of your skin, which is the sympathetic nervous system, which is the largest organ of your body. So how the body operates is we have our spine, and all of the nerves are connected to that, which are connected to all the organs, which is connected to the veins and all of that, and that's connected to the skin. So that's why looking at the patterns on your skin can identify things going on the inside. So we're not really looking at the structural part of the inside of your organs like we would if we did an X-ray. It would be strictly on the surface of your skin. But again, it's all connected, so that's why it's so revealing. So this is just an image where, she's having her thermogram done. And I can't even read all of this right now, so I apologize for not going over it with you. I want to get to the pictures, just to show you the variations of different breast disease. Okay, so this is the normal one. And you can see they're very, very balanced. A little different on one side, a little cooler with the blue, but still, there's no unusual patterns. So red is hot. White is the warmest. All women can benefit from this type of testing. However, it's especially appropriate for younger women between 30 and 50 because their breast tissue is denser. And with mammography, mammography is not effective for dense breast tissue. Also, for women of all ages and for many reasons, the test can provide a clinical marker to the doctor or mammographer that a specific area of the breast needs particularly close examination. It takes years for a tumor to grow. We can identify with thermography as early as like 256 cells versus 40 billion cells, which is 8 to 10 years later. So we obviously are going to be able to use more natural approaches to reversing that just by whatever lifestyle change, diet, and all the things that we've talked about today, especially environmental. So the whole point of it is prevention, and it's safe, and that's the message I need to get out there, is that women need to understand that they have the ability to empower themselves with choices that are much healthier, not just be told what to do, but know that that's the right thing to do for yourself. So that's where I feel the passion. This is just telling us that the average tumor doubling in a younger woman, or no, this is the one 50 to, it just shows you that it's about every 90 days is actually the average. So we have approximately 3 months before a cancer cell will double. And they do grow faster in women under 50. This is the chart that I use quite a bit. So here's what I was saying. At 2 years, it's 256 cells. And then even at 5 years, we cannot see, with the mammogram, we cannot see anything clearly as a disease until it gets to about 8 years. And then it's 32 times the size, so that's ridiculously too much. The other thing I want to say about mammography, not to bash it because it has its place, but we want to avoid having to do it if we can, is that the problem with the method of how it's done with the compression on the breast, the mammogram is only looking at the breast tissue. With thermography, we can look at so many other organs that are all relative to breast health: the hormones, the thyroid, the lymphatic system, the digestion, periodontal disease, sinuses, headaches, spine injuries or spine issues. So there's a lot of things that reflect why the breasts aren't at their optimum level. And this is the other thing that we can look at to help monitor whatever change we're trying to create in a positive way. So this was a woman who, she had a baseline, and there was some inflammation there, and then she didn't want to have any invasive treatment done, so she continued to go, knowing that she wasn't going to die because it was still quite small. So she took the chance of waiting to see how it grew, and it did get bigger. And then she had a biopsy, and they determined it was cancer, but then they were able to remove it. I think she had a lumpectomy, and it was a successful, but she got to wait. And so, meaning she got to wait to see. I know it looks a lot worse than it probably is, because we wouldn't want to wait till it got to 12 months to do something, but the point was is that there wasn't any reason to do anything invasive with it unless it were to progress. So this is in a safe period of time. This is just marking the area of a calcification of a tumor, which does not mean breast cancer. Unfortunately, breast cancer is misdiagnosed with mammograms way more than thermography, and I don't know the exact statistics, so I won't say them, but they're high for mammogram false diagnosis, false positives. False negative. Thank you. Yes. So this is just showing another area where the pathology becomes more apparent in the heat, in the white, and the red. And as I was saying before, that it's really advantageous for women that are between the ages of 30 and 50 because of the denser breast tissue. I don't know what this is called. It might be ductal carcinoma, but see, one side is much more swollen. That's one thing mammograms cannot detect, and so that's where it's very beneficial with thermography. Here's another same case where you can see the symmetry is totally off. So what we would be doing is, if you had this sort of result come back, we would just watch that. If it stayed that way and didn't increase, then that would be normal for you, unless you'd had health conditions prior to that and we really knew to look and just keep track of it. But then you can do ultrasound. That's also the other complementary tool for thermography. It's totally non-invasive, and it's more structural, so it's not physiological, it's structural. So, this is the ductal carcinoma, and this is called a grayscale, and that actually is another way for the doctor to really examine the images and see, just another method of being able to identify those particular areas that are of concern. So, normal thermal patterns. I'm going to click on to one more. Oh, Oh, this is just showing how thermography can be beneficial to other health issues too. Spine issues, muscle problems, neuropathy. I mean, I've got a list of things. It goes on and on. Because everything has a vascularity to it, a vascular, you know, like tumors and inflammation. And this was definitely, I think that might be the same woman that had those other images with the grayscale.
Is that breast cancer?
Pardon me?
Is that cancer?
Yes, I think it was ductal carcinoma. And this is actually a woman that didn't know she was pregnant, but the technician that took her picture said, "Are you pregnant?" She said, "I don't think so." And I guess she got a phone call 4 days later. She says, "Mom, I'm pregnant." She said, "I could tell. This is just the hormonal pattern in the breast." 4 days after, it can actually detect conception. I don't know exactly how that works, but that's how sensitive the camera is and how sensitive the body is to hormonal change. I mean, you can use this on animals, you can use it on men and women and children, so I can't even imagine the limits to it. It's really, really a valuable, non-invasive tool. Okay, so I have some quick tips for breast health, and this is what you will get in the email. And to be simple, I just went ahead and kind of did it. Sorry. It's better when I'm further away. Okay, so these are quick, and I have to say, after everything I've heard today, I kept going, oh my gosh, I'm going to say that, oh my gosh. So, okay, so the first one, drink 50% of your body weight in quality water, filtered water. We know that already. One thing nobody mentioned was you do use fluoride-free toothpaste and do use natural deodorants without aluminum. That's a big one. Those are two big ones. Do eat your greens and fresh fruits daily. We know that. Do cut down on most animal proteins, and when you do select them, make sure that they're organically raised and buy the very best that you can afford. There's some good substitutes out there too. Do limit your sugar consumption. Disease, cancer loves sugar. And I'm talking all sugars, maple, honey, agave, dried fruits, all very concentrated. Healthier choice would be like stevia, that sort of thing. Do include healthy fats sparingly in your diet, avocado, olive, sesame, flax, coconut. These are just a few. High in antioxidants that can help strengthen and balance your hormone levels and your metabolism. You need healthy fats to manage and maintain your desired weight and keep joints flexible, including a well-functioning heart and brain. Do your best to include 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night. I wrote most women on the go are sleep deprived, and I'm not talking beauty rest, I'm talking essential deep regenerative sleep. You can't be without it. More is better. Dream away. Do some type of low impact exercise, at least 20 minutes every day. So walking, rebounding, yoga, swimming, just to name a few. Exercise increases your oxygen levels and delivers it into the bloodstream, and oxygen is a necessary component to healthy immune system, and disease struggles to survive when you have plenty of oxygen. Okay, what about the girls? Let's talk massage. Okay, every day, this is an exercise that you can do. Okay guys, don't listen. Every time you go to the ladies' room, or whenever it's convenient for you, and without a bra on, you want to massage in a circular motion, and what you're doing is you're stimulating the lymphatic fluid. And the more you can do that, the healthier your breasts are going to stay. You want to, maybe 25 to 50 times, you want to do it around like this, and then you also want to do under your arms in the axilla area, and then you also want to do it across your chest where all your lymph nodes are. So the more you can do that, and I say don't wear a bra as much as you don't have to, because that constricts all the lymph nodes also, and that's not so good. And the other thing I wanted to say is, what about bras? Most women never have learned how to be properly fitted into a correct bra for their shape. This is essential from puberty through adulthood, pregnancy, and then menopause. Think about all the changes women's bodies go through from the time they, develop to the time they're an old woman. They're constantly changing. So be sure that you find the best fitting, comfortable style for your personal style. And avoid metal underwires if at all possible. I know that that's hard to find, but there's some solutions to that, and I believe I have part of that online for you. So you can check that out then. And also, the underwires act like a magnet, and they attract the EMFs, the electromagnetic field, and so we don't want to attract more of that to our bodies. So the grounding is an excellent way to help balance that out too. And the last, I'm trying to be quick here, but the most important tip of all, and this is right with what everybody else said today, think positive, love deeply, forgive often, and just be you. There's nobody else like anyone just like you or what you do. So be proud of yourself and get empowered.